for you as part of SLA Illinois. Debbie from Rails, Engagement Manager, is going to talk about some of the services they provide to special libraries across Illinois. And so I'm eager to learn about some of these services as well. My name's Kara Moore. I'm the President-elect for SLA Illinois. Before we jump into the webinar, if you have any technical issues that you're encountering, if you can't hear me, hopefully you can, type into the message box. Or if you're having trouble hearing Debbie throughout the session or seeing the screen, type into that chat box, and I'll help you without any those technical glitches. And also, she wants to make this an interactive session, so if you have any questions throughout the session, feel free to chime in, and I'll either filter those to you or she'll keep an eye on them. Before we turn it over to Debbie, I want to remind everyone we have our annual holiday party coming up at the East Bank Club on November 20th. So mark your calendars, and you'll see that in a listserv coming out through several pushes as well as on our website, and register through the SurveyMonkey for that holiday party, where it's sure to meet all the SLA Illinois folks in the area, as well as learn about some of our upcoming events and meet our new board members. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Debbie to talk about some of the services that Rails provides to all libraries, but especially to special libraries. Debbie?
Oh, thanks, Kara. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. First, I just want to make sure that you can hear me, because I feel a little bit lost because I can't actually see the attendee list on my screen. It says 19 people, so if somebody can just, if you'd be willing to type into the box, so just say, yes, I can hear you, that would be great. And maybe I won't be able to see that either, so Kara, you'll have to tell me.
We will see. Hopefully. Do we have a volunteer?
Okay, everybody type in.
Yep.
Yes?
I see somebody says yes, the sound is good. Thank you, Allison.
Okay, good. I was nervous because I didn't see anything, and I just see a number. And so, okay, all right. And so when I ask my question now, I'm not sure I can see the results of my question here, but I'd be curious to see if you are on this and you are a Rails member. So again, you can type in yes, no, or I don't know, because some of you may not be Rails members, and I don't want to make an assumption that you all are. So if you can do that in the chat box, that would be great.
Yeah, there are quite a few. Yes, we're getting majority Rails members.
Okay, good. And I can't see this, so
yes, I apologize.
That's okay.
Yes, so we're getting across the board, sound is good, and Rails members, just maybe about 2 people who have mentioned they're not members of Rails.
Okay. Okay, well, that's good to know. I appreciate that, and thank you, Kara, for being my lifeline. I appreciate it. So that's good to know. So what I'd like to do is go through some information that is on our website. Obviously, most of our services and what we offer you can find on our website. We are going through the process of doing a website redesign. So in the future, it will look completely different. I think we're taking our time with this process, so it could easily be more than a year before we have a new website. But we are going to attempt to make things easier to find. I'm sure you know how difficult that can be sometimes when you're trying to just make it more user-friendly for our members. So I wanted to point out the About section on our website, and you can see the little graphic up here that shows Rails members by type of library. So special libraries make up about 17% of our membership, 221 libraries, and for those of you that are in academic libraries, that's about 10% of our membership. The public libraries in the Rails region, they generally are automatically members of a system. So if you're a public library, you're a member of Rails. That is not the case for all of the other types of libraries. At some point, they applied for membership, or maybe they were grandfathered in. But for many special libraries, they fill out the application process. that goes through us first and our board, and then it's actually the Illinois State Library that approves libraries for membership. One of the things that we're going through now is that we've put together a committee to look at membership standards and requirements. And the reason I mention this is because this has come up a lot lately with some special libraries, because within the requirements it says that you need to have a physical library. And I've been to many special libraries that have a physical library, but many that are doing away with their physical library. So based on our current standards, that would mean you could not be a member. So we are looking at the membership standards. We have a committee of actually 42 people that have volunteered to look at this. So that process has just started. No one is being kicked out, but for new libraries that want to join Rails, that's really an issue right now if you don't have a physical collection. So I did want to mention that. We do cover 27,000 square miles, so we're a pretty big system. If you were familiar with library systems previously, we had 9 library systems that merged into 2, and actually Chicago Public Library is considered a system as well, so 3 systems. I did work for one of the legacy systems. I was at the North Suburban Library System. So this is our area where we break it up into some different regions. You know, with all libraries in all of those regions are members and receive our services, but it just helps us when planning programming and classes and different services where we cover. So we go up to the border, all the way west down to Quincy actually, and so we do cover a very, very, very large region. I'd like to point out some other areas of our website that might be of interest to you. The Rails community forums, these are online forums, different categories you can see over here on the left. These are my forums, and that's because I belong to every forum that Rails offers. If you only join 1 or 2 or 3 forums, that's what you'll see there. So there is one for special libraries, there's ones for marketing, public relations, facilities and buildings maintenance, so different topics. I would say that these aren't as active as I would like them to be. Let me move this out of the way. But they are here and you can post in them. So there's one for academic libraries. I know we have some academic libraries on the call as well. So it's a way to ask your colleagues questions. Just throw something out there. If you want to ask something and get a quick response, you can do that. So if you are a Rails member, you can join any of these forums except for the directors only forum. That is the public library directors, and that is a closed forum. But all of the other forums are open to any Rails member to join. I would say the library jobs is actually the most popular page on our website. I know many people that have gotten their jobs from there, whether it's a full-time job or a temporary position or a part-time position. I actually found my position at Rails through there. So it is a great place if you are looking for a job. And like I said, it's the page on our website that gets the most hits. So I will point that out to you if you have not noticed it before. So CE and continuing education, you can actually get there multiple places on our website. Under services, L2 is the calendar, but I'll go this way to continuing ed. Before I go through this page, are there any questions that I can answer? Kara, can you tell me if there's anything in the chat that anybody might be asking?
I don't have anything in the chat box now. Just a
Okay.
quick question, though, that I think some people might have about your jobs. Is it free to post on your site?
It is free to post.
Okay, that's great.
So if you can send in the job posting and we'll post it, so yes. So continuing ed, there's a few things here that I wanted to mention. You might be aware of the L2, which is for library learning. That is the calendar for workshops, events, programs. Those things posted on here are posted by Rails staff as well as Illinois State Library staff, as well as the Illinois Heartland Library System posts things as well. And we do post things for our members as well. So we really encourage networking groups to post meetings on here. You just have to send in the information through our website and we'll post things on here. That would be for SLA Illinois as well. We could do that. It's a great way for you to find out what's going on, what meetings we're having, what workshops, both in-person, webinars would be listed on here. It's all inclusive. The CE archives, that's pretty new, and these are posted webinars, recordings, archives of webinars. Not every class we offer would be posted here. It really depends on what the presenter allows, the rights that we have, but there are some good archived programs that you can find here. There's a lot on digitization because the state library just posted or just had posted digitization grants, so we did a lot on that. So copyright, customer service webinar. And these you can access as well if you are a Rails member. And this will continue to build. And I think, again, it's very convenient for people. You don't have to watch them live. You can watch the recordings and do it from your own desk. So it's pretty convenient to do that. CE announcements. These might be things that we post, but also, like I said, networking groups post meetings here. And so you could do that for SLA Illinois as well. Or I know that there are some smaller subset of networking groups. There's a Chicago area special librarians networking group, and there are some others as well. So they can post meetings here as well because there might be new people that are not aware of these groups. We are working with Lyricist. That's a lot of that is public libraries, but they actually do a lot of the webinars that you can participate in. And I wanted to mention the CE Group Grant. This is grants that we're offering to networking groups. So again, I mentioned the Chicago Area Special Librarians Networking Group. They could apply for a mini grant through Rails to bring in a speaker for their group. And we've done that for a couple of groups already. I know that there's a customer service program in a couple weeks in the Kankakee area, and the networking group applied for that. So the participants in the networking group can attend it, but they do have to open it up to other Rails members as well, open up registration. So that's another service that's available.
Debbie, just a quick question.
Sure, absolutely.
Looks like coming in. Are there any upcoming events that you think would be particularly helpful for special librarians?
There are, I should have looked at the calendar ahead of time. Well, one of the things that I did want to remember that I was going to mention at the end is that we do networking events, and we are having one at UIC on November 14th, and it's at an academic library, but it's open to all types of libraries, but it's catered to academics and special libraries, and the registration so far mimics that. There are actually a couple public libraries registered too, but it's mainly academics and specials. And we'll have 2 speakers talking about marketing, marketing tricks, tips, and outreach, as well as we are looking to add 1 person to the agenda that will be from a special library. I'm just waiting for her to confirm that. And but it's also networking as well. So there's about 40-45 minutes of presentation and then just informal networking, and that's at the UIC library. But I would just, like I said, take a look at the calendar and look through. There's nothing that's, you know, I'm not aware of something specific that's sort of jumping out at me right now, but I would just take a look at the calendar.
But it looks like we have a comment that those copyright webinars are fabulous.
Oh, good. I'm glad. You know, it's interesting. Sometimes, you know, it just depends. You know, the spin on it can be different.
Yep.
Depending on the type of library. Sometimes they're generic. Sometimes they're catered more towards one audience over another. So it really just depends. But yes, I think they do a pretty good job. What I want to mention. One of, I'd say probably the best thing you could do to keep up to date on new services or new workshops that you're interested in is to sign up for the Rails e-newsletter. If you do nothing else, that's the best thing you can do. It comes out once a week on Wednesdays, and it will tell you any networking events, any new CE programs, any new services. And it's a newsletter, so you can skim it and just ignore everything that doesn't pertain to you. And there's always, you know, contact information if you want to follow up on something. This way, you're not, it's pushed out to you, and you don't have to remember, well, let me go look at L2 and see what's going on, or let me look at the Rails website, see what's new and what might pertain to special libraries. So I think that's probably the best way to get the information. I know none of us need more email, but like I said, you know it's coming on Wednesday. You can skim it. Really, you can skim it in a minute and decide if you want to look at something or just delete it. So that would be my recommendation to you, to sign up for that. And you can sign up for that whether you're a Rails member or not. And just to clarify, if you work, the library is the member of Rails, but as long as you work in that library, you're considered a member. Some of you might participate in delivery. Delivery is interesting. You know, if you're in the Chicago area, there's a different service that works for delivery. It depends on where you're located, what type of library you are. If you're an academic library and you get delivery from Carly, so there's a lot of variety, I would say, in this. But if you have any questions about it, and if you think you should be getting delivery and you're not, you can start off by contacting me. You know, take a look at this and see, but it is one of the services that's most popular with our members, so you can take a look at that. We also offer 4 shared catalogs, and all of those shared catalogs are open to multi-type membership. So, you know, if you're looking to join a shared catalog, that might be something you can look into as well. Each one runs somewhat independently, so you, but they're also geographically, so for example, Magic is sort of out of the, you know, DuPage or Rockford area. So it often depends on where you're located. But those are shared catalogs. Yes, I know that there are a lot of public libraries in them as well, but there are other types of libraries in the shared catalogs as well.
Debbie, just a quick question.
Yes.
Regarding the delivery service,
Yes.
what is the normal time span it would take for a book to be delivered?
Well,
average.
Well, it depends because there are libraries that get 5 days a week delivery. So it's possible it could be there the next day. So it depends if you're using the courier service. It could be 24 hours or 48 hours. If you get delivery 2 days a week, which there are some libraries that get regular 2 days a week, think of it this way. If you just had delivery on Thursday and you're not getting delivery till the next Tuesday, that's a few days. So it varies a great deal.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay, sure. I wanted to mention eRead Illinois. I realize that there are people on this call that cannot take advantage of eRead Illinois because it's open to public libraries, school libraries, academic libraries, government libraries, and not-for-profit libraries. So I realize that does leave some of you out. We have had requests for for-profit library pricing, and we are looking into that, but that is not the case right now. So this is an ebook collection through Baker and Taylor. It's very popular. There are probably over 300 libraries in here. I can show you the list of libraries. And so like I said, there are of a variety of different types. You can see that we do have a handful of academic libraries in here, quite a few. So it is truly multi-type. Again, I'm sorry it leaves out the corporate libraries. School, and then down at the bottom there's a handful of special libraries as well. Small list, but it's growing. It's very popular. So if you do fit into any of those categories, I would suggest looking into that. What I want to mention. School. Any questions about anything on our website or something I kind of skipped over on the website that you might be interested in? I tried to leave out the things that were, specifically public library focused or school library focused, but anything that you see on the screen or on the Rails website that you have any questions about.
So we do have a few questions coming in.
Okay.
One person would like to know more detailed information on how the delivery service works for special libraries.
Okay.
And just maybe, I'm unfamiliar with the process too, and if it's too detailed to go into, maybe we could follow up with some just information offline, but if you could briefly go over that.
I can. The reason it's complicated is because it also varies by region. So that's why it's complicated. So it depends on, if you're corporate, if you're nonprofit, where you're located. There's a lot of variety, and it also depends. We have our own delivery drivers, as you can see here. In fact, I hear them out in our garage right here working. So we have our own drivers, but also we are outsourced in some areas. So it just varies so greatly by where you are. If you're in downtown Chicago, we pay for delivery. We use the Comet delivery service, and we pay for that for you to have deliveries. So it just varies so greatly. But if you're interested in it, I would say email me, and then I would put you in touch with the person that can see how there's all these different regions here. It just varies so much. Even in public libraries, it would vary so much. Some libraries get 2-day a week, some get 5-day a week, some get on-demand delivery. So you have to call and say, okay, I have items for pickup. Can you come pick them up. You schedule a pickup, and then it gets picked up and delivered to wherever it needs to go. So that's why it's hard for me to give specifics, because there's just so many variances. So
Okay.
does that help
Perfect.
a little bit?
Yeah, and then I'll have, and so the person who asked the question and anybody else on the call who's interested can follow up with some specifics. There are some
Right.
more questions about ebooks.
Yes.
Specifically, what is the pricing for ebooks programs? Does it range by size? And is it different, of course, for a nonprofit versus a for-profit?
It does vary, and it is based on the size of the library and how many people you serve. And also the other piece of that is collection budget.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I mentioned also, and I'll just reiterate that right now it's not open to corporate libraries, but hopefully in the future that will change. I think the pricing's probably, is it here on the website? Fees. I know there's a separate chart, I think, for, okay, so academic or school library, FTEs, so it gives some definitions of what they're talking about for academic or school libraries, and then the special libraries, what do they include for FTE.
Okay.
But just reiterate again, no corporate library pricing at this time, but we have had requests for it, so I know that's in discussions now.
Great.
Okay.
We have another question about how you're funded.
We are funded through the Illinois State Library, but really it's under the Secretary of State's office through the General Assembly, but basically we fall under the State Library, which falls under Jesse White's office, and we get you know, an annual appropriation from the General Assembly. And I would say that we basically receive the funding that the 5 legacy systems that make up Rails received. So we received that annually, depending on when the state receives their money. It could be, you know, in 2 payments, 5 payments. It could be, you know, late, but that's where we receive all of our funding.
Great. It looks like we have one other question, which is, I think, could be of interest to many attendees. Are you looking for any special librarians to potentially lead workshops or webinars for Rails?
Always, absolutely. And the contact person for that, again, you can always come through me. That's fine. I can always put you in the right direction. But Joe Philippek is our consulting and CE manager, and he is actually hiring a consulting and CE specialist to work with him, because we really are trying to really extend and do more in this area. It's really just the most, what people want the most is more CE and consulting. So yes, absolutely, and he would be the person to contact. You can find his contact information on our website, or you can go through me, but if you go by last name, and it's F for Philippek. So Joe Philippek, Consulting and CE Manager. So joseph.philippek at railslibraries.info. He would be the person you would want to contact for that. And also, if you wanted to host something at your library, this way you can participate without having to leave, and you have the space for that, that would be great as well, because we have you know, we still have service centers, but we are trying to host more and more at different libraries, and we certainly get a lot of public libraries that volunteer to host, but not as many other types of libraries. So it's a great way for you to meet people, participate in some type of CE without leaving your building, and help us out as well. So if you're willing to do that, you can also mention that to Joe.
Great.
Okay. Any other questions?
Not at this time, but feel free to
Okay.
put any questions in.
Okay. I also just wanted, Kara will send this out to you, but this is just a PDF of some of the things that we are doing for special libraries, and I think I mentioned most of these, but take a look and see. There's a couple of, for the networking opportunities, I did mention the event at UIC on November 14th. I don't know if everybody on this call is close to Chicago or not. I'll mention another one that we have planned, which is quite far away, but it's in the Quincy area at Blessing Riemann, and that one will be pretty cool because we'll also do a tour of their sim center after the meeting, so that'll be fun. And that one's December 15th, and I'll be there as well for that one. And also, if anybody wants to host a meeting like that, it's kind of fun. We usually have a topic that we can talk about, but it's also informal with some snacks, which of course we would cover, but it's a good way to meet people in the area. I mentioned the forums. We are doing more with discounts, and I would say negotiating discounts for corporate libraries is by far the most difficult. You know, you all work with vendors, so you probably know what I'm talking about. Often they're like, no, we're working with those libraries one-on-one. This is their price. They can't participate in the group offers. But I think we'll be able to do more and more with that. And we have a resource sharing manager who hired someone recently that will be working mainly on this. So I think you might find some good opportunities here. If you have suggestions for discounts or consortial offers, let us know. We're going to be working on this pretty heavily in the near future.
Yeah, Debbie, it looks like we have a comment from one of our members.
Yes.
That they recently found out their library was eligible for free access to First Search base package, which is 13 databases including WorldCat, from the Illinois State Library because they were a Rails member. So that's
correct.
That's great to mention to the folks on the call.
Yeah, that's a great idea. You know, I forget because that's not technically a Rails service, but you get that service because you are a Rails member. So absolutely, everybody has access to that. Every Rails member can have access to those databases. And you know, I don't mention these things, but you know, other benefits of being Rails members is, like I said, First Search, but also when the state library offers grants, you can only apply for those if you're a Rails member. So anything that the state might offer, that's one of their requirements. You can only participate or take advantage of those things if you're a Rails member. So that's another benefit of being part of Rails. I mentioned that. L2, I'm sure you're not all going to look at it every day, hourly like I do, but like I said, if you take advantage of or subscribe to the e-news, that's the best thing you can do. This is the other thing that you can take advantage of or participate in. Those are the Rails member updates. We do these in person, but we also do the video conferencing at all of our service centers as well as many library locations, and we do one-way streaming, so you can do this from your desktop. The last one that we had over 120 people, or maybe I think it was 110 people participate. And the next one, I did not write down the date, but I think it's early December. And this is more push out, I would say. We'll give updates on what's going on with Rails, but we do often talk about a topic of interest to libraries, and then people can ask questions. And if you attend at one of the service centers or at one of the libraries, there's also a lot of informal networking that goes on during, before, after the call. So I would suggest, signing up for one of those as well. I think they're pretty helpful. The last thing I wanted to mention is we are working on a consulting directory that will be built on the Rails website, and it basically allows Rails members to look for, there's 3 things that will be included in the consulting directory. There'll be a way for you to find colleagues, so other Rails members that are experts or willing to help or give advice on different areas. It'll also include Rails staff that are experts in different areas that can help you, and also outside consultants as well. So you can find, if you're looking for a consultant on space planning or whatever it might be, you can find that in there as well. So that is, I think, intended to launch, I was told the end of this year, early 2015, but I'm going to say early 2015. And so that's what I had to cover. Are there any other questions that I can answer?
There are no questions coming through, and we're right about in that half-hour mark.
Okay,
and
great.
This has been fantastic, and looks like we have some feedback that other folks are also enjoying learning about some of these services.
Okay.
So this session will be recorded, so we'll post it on our website, and I will send out this PDF to the attendees.
Okay.
So they have this as a quick reference.
That sounds great. I'm trying to see if my email isn't on here, but maybe you can send out my email as well in case anybody has any questions.
Absolutely. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for attending, and thank you, Debbie, for taking the time to educate us a little bit about Rails.
My pleasure.
And we'll take more advantage of some of these services.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.